Just Incredible, bringing you a Mega Man X2 speedrun tutorial on Morph Moth. The route in this stage mostly will deal with the stag third route. I will indicate the ostrich third differences for each particular section. So this is the last Maverick you face in stag third, and the weapon usage of the stag third route is significantly different than ostrich third, and for good reason. And I'll explain those reasons as I go along here. But starting out from the very get-go, just like all of the other stages after we get the speedrunner, you're going to be using it basically at the very start every time, and this stage is no exception. So as you teleport in, you're going to charge up another rushing burner, and you want to move forward, and as you dash jump over this first little hanged Reploid here, you're going to use the burner to get a quick speed, and you're going to actually thrust yourself into a position where you can freeze this boy. So there's a very specific position or a specific thing I look for when I release the burner, is that when X's foot and his arm is basically coming out from behind this beam. Now, in the actual gameplay, this beam is part of the foreground, so when X moves along, he goes behind it. But I've indicated it here so you know what to look for. So when X passes this red beam is when you want to release your burner charge. And you'll have the burner charge ready just as you're about to pass the beam, if you've started holding charge from the flashing ready. So you burner at that point, and you'll go twice the length of your air dash, which may not be very far, but it's far enough. And then you'll keep holding forward coming out of the burner, and what will happen, you'll fall, and you'll thread the needle between the hanged Reploids here and this platform. And then quickly you're going to do a small jump while going forward, and you'll jump up on this little ledge here, and you'll end up right next to this enemy. And what you want to do afterwards, you want to weapon cancel and swap to Crystal Hunter really, really quickly. So you're going to press L and R to cancel, and then you're going to press R again to go to Crystal Hunter. And this is if you're on default controls. If you're using another controller set or button configuration, then you have to apply those changes. So you're going to Crystal Hunter the guy here, and then you're going to jump onto him, because when you freeze him, you can actually stand on top of the crystal, and then you use the disc boy frozen as a stepping stone or an extra platform to get up to this wall here that leads to the heart tank. In Ostrich Third, if you don't have Crystal Hunter, so the only option that you have to get up there is a neon jump. You would either have to start a double neon from right here where I've got my little hand placed. You'll jump, air dash, neon, or jump, air dash, then neon jump again, and then you'll fall a little bit, and then you'll grab the wall. Or you would just take damage intentionally, and during your iframes you would do a single neon to get up here. But in the stag third route, you don't have to worry about neon jumps at all, because you're going to use probably the intended way of getting up to this heart tank. So also, it's very important that when you freeze this guy, what you're first going to do, you're going to press Y once, because depending, he has some RNG here. He can either just stand still, or he'll try to throw the disc at you. If he's standing still, you press Crystal Hunter the first Crystal Hunter, to knock the shield into the air, and then you'll press Crystal Hunter again once he's exposed, and he'll freeze. Now, if he throws the disc immediately, the first press of the Y button will freeze him, but when you press Y again, you don't shoot a second Crystal Hunter, because there's going to only be one Crystal Hunter on screen at a time. And you can't shoot another Crystal Hunter until the first crystal has been fully formed. So if you press Y the extra time and really don't need to, it won't do anything. But afterwards, you want to hold Y anyway to charge up your weapon. And you can't swap to burner until this crystal is off screen. So you're going to climb up while on Crystal Hunter. And then you're going to do one wall jump, and then a double kick here will get you enough height to get up on this ramp. You'll dash jump, climb here, and then once you have your burner, once you get this crystal off screen, you're going to swap to burner. So you'll probably press L 3 times really quickly to get to the burner. And then as you jump up off of this wall, you want to burner in midair, and you'll get thrusted into the heart. Now, as you come out of the heart, you're going to hold, or during the pause, when you get the heart, you're going to hold left. But I'm going to play this video of the very start. And that's the only slide I've prepared, so the rest of this tutorial is going to be on just by showing a bunch of videos. So once again, I'm holding charge as the flashing ready disappears, and I swap to burner. And then right there, at that particular moment, that's when I release the burner. And then it's going to propel me, and with gravity, of course, I'm going to go under the hang raploids, and I've already weapon canceled and got to Crystal Hunter. And then I do a small little jump, and I actually got him to knock the shield up. So at that moment, I think I knocked the shield up. Right there, yeah. I knocked the shield up. You can barely see it because I'm shooting so quickly. But the second Y press will freeze him. And then I jump on to the crystal and then dash jump up to the wall. Now, also, be very careful with this crystal once you get it formed. If you touch the crystal with dash speed, whether by a dash jump or you air dash, or you even try to do a wall jump with dash speed, you will break the crystal and he'll drop weapon energy, which Crystal Hunter in this game guarantees weapon drops, but that's not important for this. So you need to be very careful not to break this crystal, because if you break it, you have to move this particular point off the screen and respawn the enemy to have a chance to refreeze it. So once you freeze him, you want to normal jump onto the crystal. Now you can normal jump wall kick off of the crystal, but you can't use dash speed or you'll break it. So be very careful when you freeze this enemy. So coming out of the heart tank, I'm holding left, and that cancels the burner, but I'm still getting the burner speed off of that usage. So coming up is the charged wheel release to open up the floor for the armor. So right here, as I release the wheel, I'm doing a small little jump, and that is to get the highest velocity possible for falling speed as the floor opens up. Also, you want to release the wheel as shown here, because if you release it too far forward, instead of breaking both columns of blocks, you only break one. And then that makes getting out of this pit a little harder, and getting into it, actually. So you want to try to break both columns of blocks. Now, as you approach the capsule, depending on the lag, and this stage in particular has random lag points. It's really hard to explain why, but it's possibly because of the magnet pulling the junk up through the stage. It's random, and that causes lag at random points. But as you approach the capsule, if you can weapon swap forward to chain as you approach the capsule, and you could possibly chain the wall behind the capsule, and then that will pull X basically into a toe, just like in X1. Or you can get the toe just like in the Wheelgator capsule. But I think the lag might force you not to get the toe. So if you get no lag, I don't think you can get the capsule toe. But if it lags coming down this drop, you can get the toe. I'm not really sure about that. So, now I'm going to talk about something very important. I'm going to pause the video, and I'll probably load the next one, since we're getting the body armor. In Crystal Hunter, or in Crystal Snail, when you got the helmet upgrade, you actually got a weapon discount on your weapon energy usage. A lot of people don't know this, but in X2, when you grab certain combinations of armor parts, you get additional abilities in addition to what the armor parts are supposed to do. So if you have the leg upgrade and the arm upgrade, you're able to climb ladders up and down really, really fast. That's one special armor ability that not even the instruction manual would tell you. If you pick up just the helmet upgrade, so back in Crystal Snail, when you got the helmet upgrade, you got an item radar, which is kind of useless in a speedrun. But one thing that the game doesn't tell you is that you actually get I think it's a -1 energy usage. Yeah, that's right. You get one less unit consumption on your charged special weapons. So if you go back to the Snail tutorial and you watch Rushing Burner used in Snail, or even Centipede for that matter, anytime you use Charge Rushing Burner with no helmet, it always consumed 3 units of energy. Now at the end of Snail, and even at the beginning of this tutorial, you can even see it. Charge Burner used only 2 units of energy, and that's because of the weapon energy reduction that the helmet upgrade gives you. Now, when you complete X's armor, you get a new upgrade on your weapon energy usage, and that is 50% unit reduction on all weapon usage and all types of weapons. So this -1 energy usage only applied to the charge weapons when you got just the helmet. The normal weapons still consume the same 1 unit of energy, but only the charged ones use less. But once you complete X's armor, you get a 50% reduction on all weapon usage. So that means instead of the burner consuming 3 units of energy, it's going to consume 1.5. And this is why you do Moth last and Stag third, because since you use burner everywhere, you'll have plenty of energy to use it everywhere and still have enough for the Moth fight. In Ostrich third, you don't have the weapon, not only the helmet upgrade, you don't even have the full X armor, so you don't get any weapon discount for energy usage. So that's why you had to use Speed Burner very, very sparingly in that route. But in here, you can use it anywhere you want and still have the energy to finish the stage. And as you see there, when it did that burner, it consumed only 2 energy there. Now, when he uses it again, it will only consume 1. The weapon meter only shows full units of energy. It can't keep track of... It can't display half units of energy. So anytime that a weapon would consume half a unit of energy, it just deducts the full 2. So the first time you use it, it consumes 1.5. So it deducts 2 units because it can't keep track of half units. But the next time you use Speed Burner, it'll only consume 1 unit, and it evens out the display. So enough about that. So once you come out of the pit, you should have the Charge Burner ready to go. And from the Giga Crush demonstration, it's only 1 swap to burner. So you burner here as soon as you jump over or about to jump into the hang reploid there, and you'll burner through those because you have iframes just like always. And what you'll do here, you'll do some slope jumps, kind of like what you did in Crab, and then you'll turn around and actually grab the upper part of the wall and keep going. And then you'll jump through this little part right here. You'll thread the needle between the hang reploid and the Garuda robot. And then you can chain here just like in Ostrich Third. Now, you could also burner for stag third instead of using the charge chain, but I don't like using it. But in ostrich third, you have to chain. There is no burner option there. Now, that wheel I shot before the boss room was a mistake. That should have been a chain to grab the upper part of that wall to thrust you a little bit into this room. Now I'm going to talk about Overmanip. He came up with a way to not guarantee, but almost get a good chance to get an insta drop from these robots. So as soon as the robot, or as soon as the mosquito breaks out of the background and goes into the robot, and you'll get control. As soon as you get control, you want to shoot a wheel and then just do a full dash on the ground and hold dash all the way until X stops moving. And then the wheel is going to go right into the robot, and that will force the mosquito to come out. Now, before the mosquito comes out, the old robot is going to do one last action before you can destroy the mosquito. Now, shown here is one of the two optimal patterns. This is an insta drop with a shot, and then there's just an insta drop. Those are what you want for these old robots, because if the robot decides to jump or hop around, then you lose seconds just because of that. There's various types of jumps. He can do a short hop, he can do a medium jump, he can even do a super jump, or he can even jump backwards, or jump in place. There's a lot of different random things he can do, but ideally you want the insta drop. So coming back to the setup, you want to shoot the wheel, then just do an air dash, and you wait. And you also don't swap to Sonic Slicer until the robot has committed to a move, because weapon swapping may influence the RNG. And if you've done the proper setup, the weapon swap might mess it up. So you just wait until the robot has done a move, swap to Slicer, then let the charged Slicer go into the mosquito to kill it. So that's the first good pattern you want. So coming out of this boss, you want to swap the chain and charge up, because you're going to have a charged chain. And you want to release it when X is in front of the middle broken capsule in the background there. Then you're going to release, you're going to dash jump and then release the chain. Or other way around. You're going to release the chain, then dash jump. And that will grab this little wall. And you're going to shoot a little chain to take out the mosquito that's in the way. Then you're going to charge up for burner again. So you're using burner liberally in this, just because you have the weapon discount in stack third. And then when you get on the ladder, disembark it, and then you'll fall at normal slow speed. And then what you're going to do, once you pass the weapon refill on the right, you're going to start holding right, and then you're going to dash, then release the burner, and then you're going to get a second air dash after releasing the burner. And you're going to use that burner to get you far enough to where when you air dash, you can reach that ledge there. If you air dash too soon, you'll air dash into that big mosquito there. And then you still have to release the burner to prevent yourself from dropping any further. You don't want to drop any lower than necessary. But you're going to let gravity help you out in this little section a little bit. And then after this, you're going to recharge another burner. Now, you only release the burner there if you're on stack third. If you're on ostrich third, you cannot do that, or you will be short burner for Moth. So after this, do a small little jump there, and that will get you a right position to land on the top of the ladder when it comes on screen, and then you can just climb down and disembark it. And then you're going to make sure that you hold left before releasing that burner on if you're doing stack third. Remember, if you're on ostrich third, you can't do that burner, so you just have to hold the charge. And then after coming out of the burner, you can air dash again, and then charge up for another burner. Now, it's very important when you go through this little corridor, you got these little mosquitoes everywhere. Do not let one of them jump on X, because if that happens, you're going to end up with a very undesirable effect. The mosquito is going to insert its tail into X and make him do one of three things. He's going to rapid fire, rapid jump, or rapid dash. You don't want any of these to happen. Also, you can kind of, and if you do get an accidental grab by the little mosquito, quickly bonk into a one of these Garuda robots, the spiked robots with the Matar helmets, to get the mosquito off of you. But you only do that if that happens. Ideally, you don't want nothing to happen. So you're gonna air dash and burner through those Garuda robots, and then as you come out of that burner, you can weapon cancel and dash shot these mosquitoes as they try to drop down out of the ceiling. And then you're just going to recharge and go right back to burner again. Now, this is another of those, if you're doing Stag Third or Ostrich Third, whether you can do this burn or not. Stag Third, yes, you can do that burn. Ostrich Third, no. But instead of a burner, you can release a charge chain to take out that mosquito, and then jump as the chain extends, and you'll grab the top part of that little light blue block there, and it will grab you and pull you into the boss room here. So if you're doing the burner, you want to jump out of the burner under the little light blue portion there of the ceiling before you get into the room. That will keep you moving into the room. And then here's the second robot that you gotta kill. There's also a manipulation here too. I don't know exactly where Ova did his from, but I think I do mine in a little bit of a different place. I'm not sure. I haven't seen Ova play X2 in a while. But I have a visual cue for this to get the insta-drop a little bit. And let me pause the video. Okay. I'm going to pause it right here for a minute, and then I'm going to point out the spot. Okay, you see this diamond? It looks like I want to say a light brown diamond of a sprite in the background here. This is my visual cue that I'm looking for, and what I'm going to do, there's an actual shadow under this diamond, and it's kind of hard to see it in this paused state. But once I play the video and I pause it again, I can show it a little better. Right there. I'm placing X back foot where the dark brown shadow of this spot is. So I'm placing the outline of X's sprite to where it matches up with the diamond. It forms a border of the diamond right here. And also, I want to set this up by just tapping forward. I don't want to turn around and have to reset it up, because that could influence the RNG. But the idea, you want to have X's back foot matching the bottom right part of this diamond. So when the robot starts to come up, I shoot the wheel and hold charge. And like I said before, it's not guaranteed. There's no guarantee with these RNG bosses, but it kind of sets up the RNG that I want, the insta drop. Now, once again, I got the shot with the insta drop. Let me think. Is there something else important here? Maybe the timing of when you fire the wheel might influence if you get the right RNG or not. That's always a possibility. But once again, that's just a setup of how to get the favorable RNG for this boss. And just like before, you don't swap to Sonic Slicer until the robot has committed to his move. And then you just take out the mosquito like before. So it's a very simple. So this stage is very, very simple in movement. You just have some RNG elements that you have to deal with. So after that, now for Hellway. So after you kill the mosquito, you're going to charge up Burner. You're going to jump over this first this first mosquito that is in your narrow corridor here, and you barely have enough space to get over him. So you have to almost look like you're going to run into him, but you're going to jump over, and then just do a short hop over him, and then you're going to land behind him. And then as soon as you get on the ground and before you run into the second mosquito, you're going to release your charge Burner. And you're going to go through this whole, almost the entire line of mosquitoes on the ground. And you should have invincibility because you're not bonking into any of these enemies. You shouldn't be. Because you need the invincibility to go through all these guys. And you're going to hold the Burner as long as possible. Remember, the Burner carries you double the distance of your dash. So if you use it on the ground, you're getting carried twice the distance of your single ground dash. So at the very end, you're going to be under this light blue thing in the ceiling. That's when you want to jump out of the Burner. And you'll maintain your speed, and you'll dash jump up onto this platform here coming up. And then you should fire a Burner because the range of this Burner is pretty wide, so you have a pretty wide window to take out this mosquito in your way. Now this mosquito above X here, he's going to turn around just as you get up on this this top ledge, and if he sees you, he's going to rush you down, and he may damage you, but that's not very important. But it will slow you down, so just be prepared for that if that happens. So once you fire this uncharged Burner, you're going to charge up the Burner again for the Moth fight. But here at the very end, you're going to normal jump at the very end of the platform and then air dash off to get behind the cannon driver that is blocking the door. And then you just drop right in. See, and that was a good drop. I didn't grab the wall and I didn't touch the ground. So that was a perfect door entry. So this is how the last part of the stage should go. Except for that little drop, but you can't control the weapon drop or the item drop. So if you get something, you just got to work around it. So Burner and then CFO charge into full charge for the fight. So now comes the Moth fight. And I got to get on the right thing here. So the Moth fight. You should have charge Burner as you start. So as soon as the fight begins, you have two phases. You got the pupa phase and you have the adult form. So at the start, you're going to dash jump and then release the first Burner and recharge Burner, and you're going to get on the wall. And then as the cocoon turns from its charged state, he'll turn normal. Hit him with another Burner. Now also, when you fight Moth, especially in the cocoon phase, you want to avoid creating dust sprites on the wall from sliding and on the floor from dashing, because that lags the fight even more. And it can interfere with your Burner releases, as it's happened to me many times, and I've come up with a way to prevent an accidental or an unintentional mess up. So after the first Burner, you're going to recharge for Burner, get on the wall, do a dash jump off the wall, and Burner him again. After the second Burner, I do a wall jump, and then keep tapping the arrow against the wall to slow my descent. That allows for the Burner to expire, and then it keeps me on the wall high enough so I can shoot an uncharged Burner into him. And then I hold charge again for the third charged up Burner, which will end the pupa phase. Now, as you notice, when I'm dash jumping on the ground, I'm not creating any dust sprites there to reduce as much lag as possible. And then there's the fourth Burner. The fourth Burner is always the trickiest because there's a lot of junk being thrown around, and that just lags the game. Now, if you tend to release and repress Y to start another charge as soon as you release the first one, the game can lag in such a manner that it doesn't recognize that you release the Y button. So a couple of times when I go to release the Burner, I repress Y so fast that the burner doesn't even go off because the lag got a hold of the game and slowed down and ate my input of release, which sucks. And that just and you lose time for something dumb. So after the cocoon has taken 20 HP, regardless if you've taken him down further than 20 HP, the adult form will always have 12 HP. And 2 charged burners alone will kill him that way. But an uncharged burner deals 3. So what's going to happen is, what I do to get this 4th burner, or this 3rd charge burner without messing up, I completely let my fingers off all the face buttons, but I still hold the direction I want to go. And then afterwards, I weapon cancel momentarily to Buster to shoot a shot and start my next charge. Then I swap back to a speed burner. Now, after the ceiling explodes, after the last explosion sprite disappears, I start my jumps. I do 1, 2, 3. On the 4th jump, I dash jump out toward the center, and that's at the time that the screen will scroll up and Moth will appear. And the charge burner will go through Moth and take out half his remaining health, and then I just have 2 uncharged burners to finish the fight. And then that's it. Very simple fight. So there's the first charge burner. There's the second. Uncharged CFO into charge burner. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 release. Uncharged and uncharged. So this fight goes fairly fast. Now, as you see, in Ostrich Third, you should have no weapon energy left when you kill Moth. But in the Stag Third route, as you see, I've got plenty of weapon energy left. And that's from the weapon reduction bonus that I got for just having X's armor full. That is the big noticeable difference in this route. I've actually tested it, and even with just the helmet upgrade alone, is if you don't waste a single burner, you still have enough. And you'll end up running out just when you kill Moth. So as many charge burners as you're using, even with just the helmet upgrade alone, you still have enough energy. But if you're doing Ostrich Third, you have to watch your burner usage. And you have to use way less. But as you see, with full armor, you can use burner pretty much all you want. And this is the only stage that this weapon energy bonus really comes into play, because you don't use burner obsessively for the rest of the run. Just because there's no room to use it. So it's only in this stage does this bonus matter. And that is the end of the Moth tutorial. And after this is the Counter Hunter stages.